Coming to the stage now is our lady comedian. She's a very funny woman. She's here all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Ronnie D.
Hey, Ronnie D. I'm apologizing right out for my outfit because I've been having some issues. I'm a little down in the dumps. So like I just moved and I couldn't find anything like other than this. I was like, I know this is in the car because I was gonna donate it and it fell out of the box and I was just too lazy to put it back in. I wore this skirt Monday, so that's gonna be like hanging off the bathtub, so I know where that is. And then I, was going through, I'm going, okay, I didn't wear this underwear when I had the yeast infection, so I can put it on tonight. So I dressed up for you guys. Oh, man. So I'm having that kind of like, life week where I can't sleep at all, so I'm taking NyQuil all the time at like noon, and then I get up at like 3 and I take it some more. It's really awesome. I'm going through those mood swings that I get, and you know how everyone calls it, ooh, the bipolar roller coaster. I'm just like, oh, it's so ridiculous because it's more like the Splash Mountain at Disneyland, because it's like, I'm coming up, everything's great, I'm here, and there's all these like fuzzy little animals, and all of a sudden in the back I see my dad in my leotard, and he's like doing this, and I have to go to dinner with my parents, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I know the secret of life, but I don't, and then it's like, psh, fucking an ex-boyfriend, And I'm like, oh. And that doesn't help because you're like, oh, it all worked out, and the penis that's a little bit smaller and it crooks to the left doesn't really hit the right spot when you're not in love, And I'm just like, fuck. I need some help. So I thought, what should I do? I'll watch judge shows all day. So I can say, I'm not that fucked up. I didn't do that. So I'm watching that, and then they have the commercial for Medic Alert, and I'm like, I'm getting that. Someone will care, I live downtown, and I always tell my parents, I'm just like, I'm gonna die alone, and no one's even gonna know it, because like I'm gonna start smelling. Like that's when they'll find me, because you guys never care. And she's like, make sure you drop the cat by first, because we don't want anything to happen to her. Mom, cat. Oh, the judge show. So this lady is crying on like Judge Joe Mathis or Judge Brown. I don't know what it is. Alex Ferrer, Oh, I know way too many judge shows. I moved to San Diego with my brother who was going to law school, and I like mooched off him for 3 months, and I thought like, oh, well, he's going to law school, but I was watching the moral court, so I was like, I'm really learning stuff too, But apparently like my parents didn't see it that way. So I'm watching that, and this girl's just crying, she's and then this is the one that made me feel better about myself. I was like, because she thought they were gonna get married, and she like got inheritance from her grandmother, and then she paid off all his bills, and then surprise, like he left. I don't have any money, so I don't have to worry about that at all. And I don't really have much to offer at all. So she's crying, and she's like, oh my god, I haven't had my wedding dress. Like my wedding day, he stood me up, and like my dress is in the closet. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna be like stood up on my burial day. It's like that bad, And that's the thing I've been looking forward to most. My life, I dreamed about that as a little girl. My burial gown, what I was gonna wear. Whose top closet shelf I was gonna be stuffed on until they died, and then someone else had to deal with my ashes. It was a beautiful thing. Dying alone, yay. Just kind of surprising because I went through like the normal crush phases, to try to find the guy, like jock, bad boy, paraplegic, Totally. Like I volunteered at the hospital when I was like going through puberty, and maybe that was the problem. I'm not really sure. And I was just obsessed to the point where like my wall was plastered with pictures from disabled Tiger Beat. I was thinking of like throwing a Special Olympics, like shaving the handicap sign, yellow guardrail. Girls take crushes way too far, I'll tell you that much when we're little. I'm in love with him. It's so neat. Oh, and then let's see, the guy, I don't know, the guy that I'm always trying to rationalize really just has a good guy friend. They're really not doing it, you know? I tend to be with that guy a lot. And first it starts and I'm like, oh, that's so great, you know, he likes to go dancing, I like to go dancing, it's so fun. You don't usually find guys who are, you know, straight who like to go dancing. And then, you know, like he's calling you cute things in bed, and I'm Ronnie, and he likes to call me Ron or Ronald. I'm like, that's cute. And then I think, oh, this is awesome, because he's very adventurous in bed. He likes to try different things. And one night, you know, he's like, hey, let's try the reverse cowboy. Baby, isn't that the reverse cowgirl? Shh, Ronald, just get up and ride. You're my urban cowboy. Let's do this. Oh, yeah. So those didn't work out. But the thing is, I still rationalize it today, and I'm like, you know what it was? He's just starting early because he's going to get into politics, and he wants, like, an alibi for, you know, he's planning ahead by being gay. He's a go-getter. Oh, see, then there's the other guy. The other guy who's got that friend who's always around, and it just sucks. You know, you guys never get any time together. It's just like the biggest cock block ever. God. Fucking God. It's like, ooh, little too much guilt in that orgasm. No. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I was raised Catholic with like all the guilt and none of the love. You know how that goes. No pretty dresses. Just like a lot of self-questioning and self-loathing. So you have to buy a one-bedroom apartment instead of like a studio because you want to have more rooms to pace from and hate yourself. That kind of thing. So, the guilt. Oh man, my parents. I was thinking that because Phil said his parents didn't talk to him about the birds and the bees. My parents didn't either. They didn't talk to me really much about anything, like what do you want to be, etc., etc., etc. They came out and saw a show once, though. They came out to a comedy show, and they took me out to dinner the next day. Me, like without my brother. It was awesome. And they sit me down and they talk about not going the way of vulgarity in my comedy. I'm like, wow, this is what they get to. They're okay with my rape jokes, but the masturbation jokes are a problem. Because my mom's like, you know, we never taught you to love yourself in any way possible, so don't talk about this. It's terrible. Oh, man. So, you know, you try those things, you're like, hey, I'm going to think about, you know, accepting the Lord or, you know, whatever, and you're laying around the house and you think these things, and so you learn, like, maybe two things. You're like, Jesus is the Son of God, and the Book of Revelations and meth does not mix really well together. They're not that fun. So you turn to something else, and in my case it's pharmaceuticals. I was going to be on lithium, but I drank too much and they'd have to like watch my liver and stuff like that, so they put me on this other crazy thing that's like for people who have seizures, but it could give you seizures, but it makes me more attractive apparently. So I'm doing that, and I'm taking Prozac to even it out, and the sucky thing about this is when you're on Prozac or an antidepressant, you like lose your libido, like completely. How does that make you happy? I tell you what, it's so freaking ridiculous, you know? So I'm like, playing the clitar. It's getting like intense. I'm like rocking you out, welcoming you to the jungle, you know, because I'm just like, oh, come on, let's do this, you know, and after like an hour and 15, I'm just like bitch slapping my clit to see if I can feel anything, you know, and I'm just like, ah, and by this time I'm crying, and it's crying, and I'm bruised in this weird pattern, and like I'm shooing away random Mexicans who think that's the Virgin Mary, and I'm like, you can't pray here. You cannot pray here. Yay. Thanks, guys. You've been great. Have a good night tonight.
Ronnie Dulesky, let her hear it.